Yes guys, what's going on? Adam McKola here, back with another video on AMTV. We've got more Manchester United transfer rumours and transfer talk for you here on the channel today as the transfer window edges closer and closer to being closed. Manchester United are being linked with a whole host of names, and we're going to go through all of the rumours on players that Manchester United could potentially be signing between now and the end of the transfer window. Now, depending on when you're watching this video, the transfer window is just over 24 hours from being closed, but you may be watching this and it's about 12 hours to go. It's very, very close to being closed now. But what we know is Manchester United have signed Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Daniel James and Harry Maguire, and are seemingly still in the market. We are in the market for players if you believe all the transfer rumours. As you know, United are always linked with players, and the usual suspects are being discussed here today. Paulo Dybala, Bruno Fernandes, Romelu Lukaku and all of that. Plus some new names as well. Christian Eriksen, Fernando Llorente, Philip Coutinho. These are the players we're talking about here today on Adam McKola TV as we look at potential deadline day deals for Manchester United. Let's get stuck into the first one that we can pretty much say is not happening. That's a swap deal between Juventus and Manchester United, as earlier on in the week Manchester United pulled out of a deal and briefed all of the British press that we were not signing Paulo Dybala. Paulo Dybala has now been linked with a move to Tottenham Hotspur, and they've accepted or agreed a fee with Juventus for the player, if you believe the reports from Sky Italia. But they have the same issues as Manchester United. They need to agree a fee, image rights, wages, agents fee, all of that stuff with Paulo Dybala. Just imagine if Spurs managed to get him. It'd just show Ed Woodward right up, wouldn't it? If Daniel Levy was able to agree a fee and a deal for Paulo Dybala just like that, and Ed Woodward couldn't get it done. But nevertheless, that deal is done and dusted. Romelu Lukaku will not be being exchanged for Paulo Dybala. Now, Romelu Lukaku could still leave Manchester United, and Manchester United have allowed him to train with Anderlecht while he sorts out his future. That's because Manchester United expect him to leave, I assume. Obviously, if we weren't expecting him to leave, we would have let him come back. Now, Romelu Lukaku's future isn't going to be decided by deadline day because he's likely to move to an Italian club, and Italian clubs can sign players until September. I don't know why the Premier League did this. I really do not know why the Premier League did this and shot English clubs in the foot by announcing an earlier deadline. If the whole of Europe was going to do it, fair enough. But when other teams can still buy players from English clubs and English clubs can't buy players, it just doesn't make sense, especially given the rumours that Manchester United aren't going to replace Romelu Lukaku, although there's other rumours which are kind of conflicting reports to that and presenting some potential replacements for the Belgian. We'll talk about them a little bit later though. Another player, Bruno Fernandes, has been linked to Manchester United for so long. Not just Manchester United, Spurs too have been linked with Bruno Fernandes, and reports recently they've agreed terms with the player but just need to agree a fee with Sporting Lisbon. All sounds very familiar to some of the rumours that were coming out from Manchester United. And the British press are reporting Manchester United have no interest in the Portuguese player. So another deal that is seemingly off. And I know that's going to disappoint a lot of you. And imagine Dybala or Fernandes or both ending up at Spurs. It'd be a bad summer for United fans. Now, speaking about Spurs, one way they could raise the money to buy Paulo Dybala or Bruno Fernandes, if they're actually in for them, is selling Christian Eriksen. Now, Christian Eriksen's contract expires in 12 months' time, and it was believed he was going to make a move abroad. Real Madrid, Juventus, other clubs were linked with a move for Christian Eriksen. At 27 years old, he's still at the, he's still in his good years, he's still in his peak years, and he's a player that you would expect to have a lot of demand for, but Real Madrid haven't been forthcoming, Juventus haven't been forthcoming, and it's been reported in the British press recently, the same British press that broke the news that the Paulo Dybala and Romelu Lukaku swap was off, are saying United are making an audacious bid to sign the Danish midfielder. Now, this is seemingly going to be the deal that trickles on throughout the deadline. This is the one that's going to drag on, I think, because United have almost briefed the press. Bruno Fernandes isn't happening. Paulo Dybala is not happening. We know Romelu Lukaku's future probably lies elsewhere. So this is the story, I think, that is going to get squeezed the most between now and the deadline. Is there something in it? Well, there seems to be reliable reporters reporting it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Manchester United in for Christian Eriksen. But do I believe Daniel Levy is going to sell him to us? No, I do not. There was reports they wanted 130 million last summer. Now, obviously, with a year to go, they're not going to get 130 million. But they wanted 50, 60 million of teams from abroad. They're not going to take that from Man United. If we could get him for 50, 60 million, get him signed up right now, because that would be a scoop. But we're not going to get Christian Eriksen. And I hope I'm looking stupid at the end of this transfer window because we've managed to sign Christian Eriksen. But I don't think we are. I really don't think we are. And I think this is just a story now that's going to linger on right up until the deadline. And we're not going to sign him. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this though, because it is coming from reliable sources. Are any of you getting excited about this? Or do you think it's just a whole load of bogus? Surely it's not going to happen. And in the same article from the Telegraph, they say United are launching an audacious bid to sign Christian Eriksen. But if it fails, we're going to get Philippe Coutinho. Yes, you heard that right. Philippe Coutinho. Now, the reports broke from around Europe, all at once, around Europe, around England, that he was offered to loads of Premier League clubs. Arsenal were linked with him. And then that was denied pretty swiftly. Spurs were linked with him, as you'd expect. They're being linked with everyone at the moment. United were linked with him, as you'd expect United to be linked with him. And another Premier League team was linked with him on loan as well. Can't remember who, but he was linked with a loan move. 143 million they paid for him, and now he's going on loan. Crazy. But Philippe Coutinho has been linked with a whole host of clubs. Now, could he be a backup option for United? Are United going to sign Philippe Coutinho? Rumoured loan fee of £20 million or something like that. Imagine paying £20 million to get a player that's not even going to be your player for more than a season. Incredible. I don't think that's going to happen. I think, again, it's just agents putting United's name next to players in the hope that someone else will come in for them. Philippe Coutinho will not be a Man United player this season. I just can't see it. Now, we know Romelu Lukaku might leave Manchester United, but we also know that there's a few other players that could leave as well. Matteo Darmian being linked with Italian clubs. Since he arrived at Manchester United, it seems he's been linked with Juventus and Inter Milan, Lazio. He's been on the verge of a move back to Serie A for so long, and it hasn't transpired. Will it transpire in this transfer window? Who knows? But also, when we were linked with Harry Maguire, the rumours were that if we signed Harry Maguire, then one of Chris Smalling, Marcus Rojo or Phil Jones could go to make way. Now, we heard Newcastle were interested in Phil Jones. We've heard Smalling's been linked with other teams in the past. Rojo's been linked with a whole host of European teams and Argentinian teams. Now, we could possibly see a deadline move for one of those players, one of those four defenders. Now, it'd be good for me if it was one of those centre-backs, because Axel Tuanzebe then becomes an integral part of the squad. There's one more player out of his way. In terms of talent and all that, I think he should be top 3, top 4 centre-halves for United anyway, in the rotation. But if one of those leaves, it just clears the way for him a little bit more. So I'd be delighted to see that happen, as ruthless as that sounds. But we need to get ruthless, and Ollie needs to get ruthless as well. I know we haven't signed as much players as we would have liked this summer, but over the next couple of transfer windows, we need to see players leaving as well. One player that we do need to replace if he leaves this summer is Romelu Lukaku, and it looks like we're not going to replace him. But we have been linked with a couple of strikers. Moussa Dembele has been linked with Manchester United for a while now. I'd say for at least 12, 18 months he's been linked with Manchester United. But French report, he's not going anywhere. So that one seems to be dead in the water. And also, one that has broken in the last couple of hours is Fernando Llorente to Manchester United. He's a free agent, so it wouldn't be involved with the deadline. Could that be a last gasp option if United were to sell Lukaku after the English deadline? Fernando Llorente on a free? It doesn't inspire me with much confidence, to be totally honest with you. And if we lose Lukaku, we've lost Herrera, we've lost Fellaini recently, we haven't replaced them in the team. Yes, it's great we've got a right back at last and a centre half at last, but that would be a huge blow to Manchester United's season going into the current campaign. And that's why it's really vital that we do sign a midfielder. Whether we do or not remains to be seen. And that's why I hope there's something in the Christian Eriksen rumours. Now, I know I've written off pretty much everything we've discussed today. I'm pessimistic when it comes to rumours as it is, and I'm usually proven right. And I know also Christian Eriksen isn't probably the defensive midfielder we need, but we do need quality in there. And if you can somehow get by on a McTominay and Fred and Matic covering the defensive midfield positions, and then have Eriksen with a Pogba, that'd be very good for Manchester United going into the season. But again, I don't think we're doing business with Daniel Levy. I don't think that's going to come off at all. And I don't think United will sign anyone between now and deadline day. But those are potential targets for Manchester United on the transfer deadline. Let us know what you guys think about all of them. Do you think any of them will come off? Will Manchester United sign any players? Or are you as pessimistic as I am? Get your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribing to Adam McKola TV. But for now, I'm Adam McKola. I'm out of here.